Hello everyone, this is Chris Brooks from the Riffsticks Game Studio, and I'm here to show you how to create your own custom themes in Raffle Blast. So we can go ahead and get started. I'll push up to get to the UI. Now as you see, we have a list of themes in the tool. We have ACS, Bingo, Christmas, Halloween, Raffle Blast. ACS is a custom theme, so you don't generally get that in the finished product. It's one that I personally have done for American Cancer Society events. But in general, the product comes with Bingo, Christmas, Halloween, Raffle Blast, and more as they come online. Those are managed by Riffsticks Game Studio, so you won't see them in the custom folder that's created for custom themes. So now, why would you have a custom theme? You may have a drawing that is based on your company logo. You'd want the background to have your company logo, those shapes to be based upon your company. So maybe your company's logo would be on the shapes as well as other features. So it's more meant for personalization. So for example, if you're having a wedding bingo, you may want it with your registry settings, and therefore have a little pictures of you and your groom or such. So there's all kinds of ways to customize it for your specific needs. So with that, we can get started. In settings, we have the general settings generally, and that's where, general settings generally, that's where the music volume and the collision selected volume is set. You can also set theme settings for themes that you control. So this is Raffle Blast, so you won't be able to do that, but let's go into the ACS. And from there, you'll be able to get to the theme settings because it's a custom theme. Now here we have a few theme settings. We have the background color, which is, in the case that there's no images on the background, would be that color would be your background image. In the case that there are images, it's going to be a tint of that. So for example, 255 is white, so the background's white, so whatever is on top of it is going to be on top of a white background. So that's why you see the star is white in the background here. If we tint that down to, say, a bluer color, then we hit save. As you see, the background is tinted. So you can play with that effect to come up with a kind of a merging of the colors to whatever your background is. So let's go back and change that back to all white. Okay, and hit save, and there it is. Now that's your normal setting. If you set it to all zeros, then it's just going to be a completely black background no matter what. Now, in general, it's listed in hex format. So as you see, all this white is FF, which is a hex format. The way to deal with that, if you want to look for things on hex, is to go like into any browser and say HTML color orange, for example. And you'll see its hex value, so we want orange. See this hex value? Let's go FFA500. So let's go ahead and back out. Let's just put it here. And you've got your orange. So you can put it in by hex value, or you can put it in by what's called RGB value. And either way works fine. And if you hit save, the background is an orange color. So let's go back to theme settings, and let's go ahead and make it all white again, and we're good. Now the background transition is, if you have themes with multiple background images, that's how many seconds it's going to take between it switching those images. So in this case, ACS only has one background image, but if you set that to a shorter duration, when there's more, then it'll show it every 10 seconds or shorter time frames or longer. I'm going to show you the way to do it through what's called the configuration file as well, and you'll see where that correlates in upcoming in the video. So alright, so let's hit save again, and there we are. So let's go ahead, we want to create our own theme. So to create our own theme, we want to, let's go ahead, we're going to have a casino-based theme, one that's kind of like a casino background and with casino look spheres. So let's that's what we're gonna do in this example. So let's go ahead and first we go to settings and let's create a theme. So let's go to the themes folder, for example. So I'm in the themes folder now. That popped up on my other monitor, but here it is. So in the themes folder you have ACS and we don't have any other theme. So let's go ahead with that and create a new theme. And we'll go back to the ACS folder. And this is where all of your themes your custom themes will be created. They'll be created based upon your local directory structure. So usually this app data for PC and Mac, app data, local low, Rivsticks Game Studio, Raffle Blast, and themes. Now we have new theme here, so let's go ahead and explore what that put in there. So in here we have a background, shapes, and theme. So the theme config is what I was talking about earlier. So if you open that up, a theme has a background color. So you would put that here if you wanted to do it through this interface instead of the front end. Then this is your background transition in milliseconds instead of seconds. So the front end shows you 10. That equates to 10,000 milliseconds because there's 1,000 milliseconds in a second. So 10.5 would be 10,500 and such and such. RGS managed. All RGS managed themes that are created by RGS are compiled into the executable itself, which means you don't really see them. There's no folder for them. So RGS managed in this context would tend to mean that I've created a theme that I don't want anybody to be able to edit or change anything on. So by setting RGS managed to true after you've completed your theme, you can kind of lock it so no one can really mess with it after that. And it's kind of a way of sealing it, but that's what that field means. Everything is based on a name and a value. We didn't think it was pertinent for people to have to learn like JSON or XML or any other kind of complex data structure. So instead we just went with a very simple name and then a colon and then the value that you want it set to. And this will grow, this list will grow as we get more and more UI type of benefit from our themes. So right now these are the three that we have. There is another one that's not really used called name. It generally gets the name of the theme from the folder name. If you put name colon in the name, it'll take that. It just will kind of ignore it. So that's how themes work. So let's go ahead and close that out. Now as you see in the new theme, it's created these folders for you. So it's created background, it's created an images and a music folder. In the images folder, it's put a sample background image. It's a 1920 by 1080 PNG file, and that's what you're seeing back here with the blue sample. Okay, so that's where all of your background images would go. If you put in a image that doesn't, we'll do that when we go. We'll put in something that's not an image type, like a text file, and we'll show you that. But right now, let's just show you the structure. So then it also has a music folder. There is no background music. If there was background music, you would put that in here as well. So let's go back to here, and this is the shapes. These are where you would put in your various shapes. So right now it has a sphere in here, which means all of the shapes that are generated are going to be sphere. If you wanted to create a cube, all you do is copy this folder, and you could name it cube. And now you have spheres and cubes. But let's go into sphere. Sphere has images and sounds. So we have images. Again, this is the image. It's usually, you can make it any size you want. That's what's the texture. In other words, this image is going to be put on top of the shape. So the shape is going to be a sphere with this image around it, and you'll see that when I run this sample. You'll be able to change any of these to textures. In general, you could have textures of any size. If you want textures that are megs in size, you can, very intricate design textures. But the larger they are, the longer they're going to take to load. So I found that 512 by 512 is a pretty good size. Gives you relatively crisp graphics without taking forever for the ball to load. So, or the shape in this case, whatever the shape is. So that's where you kind of want to play around with that as far as for your own needs. So you could put your texture here. 512 by 512 is kind of an optimal size. Now spheres also have sounds. They have two versions of sounds. They have a collision sound, which your collision sounds will go here, and they have the selected sound, which is a horn in this case, and it'll go here. So when the shape is selected, it makes this sound, and when the shape is collided with, it'll make this sound. And you can have multiple sounds, so you put multiple files in here. So let's go ahead and with our new theme, let's call it Casino, since we're going to make a casino. Okay, so this is our casino theme. Let's go back here and let's refresh the themes. And there's your casino. So as you see, it hasn't changed anything else, but it's there. I'm going to go ahead and give it a values just so we could see what it's going to currently do. So there's your edit values, and I'm going to generate those shapes. So that's it. You've got your sample, you've got your spheres that all have that sample button on them. When you click them, oh, we'll probably need to set the sound up, so let's set the sound up. And we'll so collision selected sound, so when you click it, you'll hear it. And let's go ahead and click one. There it is. So you have your sample number 28 with the sound. All right. So let's go ahead and clear those shapes. And here's our casino sample folder that I've downloaded some free public versions of. So I have these background images, which are 1920 in size. I have these collision sounds, which are all kinds of sounds. Should make it sound like a casino at the end. We have music, which is this casino rock. We have the selected sounds, which is a horn salute, and various textures, which these are like the textures from the general Raffle Blast opening screen. So let's go ahead and create our casino theme. So and we'll do it slowly, we'll do section by section. So here's casino theme, let's go background. Let's go into one thing first, okay. The themes also have this. If I wanted to give it default themes like you see in Bingo, let's do that real quick before we start. You could create a new theme, a default file called default values. And if it finds that file, it will set it to those values. So let's do that here. Let's go into Notepad. And let's just set up some default values for, you could do this in Excel as well. You save it as a CSV. So let's set them up and go 1 through 100, 2500, and 3500. Okay, so that's my default values for this theme. So let's go ahead and all we want to do is we want to say, let's go here for a minute, let's copy this folder, and I want to say file, save as, let's save it as a CSV file, and you're going to call it default themes. Oh, look, it's already set to the ACS default. But let's go here and set it to the casino. And you want to call it default themes. .csv. And you want to hit save. Okay, here you are. So there's your default theme CSV. Now if you go into here and you go into edit values, you can default themes. Oh, you have to refresh themes. Whenever you make a theme change, you have to refresh themes. So let's do that. There's casino. Then let's bring in default values. Hold on, let's see why we're not getting them. Oh, I said default themes. Okay, it's values. Okay. And then refresh, and then there they are. So that's how you get in your default theme, your default values. So if it's in that folder, then it will be able to default to those values. Otherwise, it will just not have that available. So let's go back to what we were doing then. Now that we've got that out of the way, we've got casino. And the themes folder with casino. And let's go with the casino sample. Did I close it? No, I didn't. It's right here. Okay, so here we go. We've got casino sample and we've got the casino theme. It's got default values. Let's go here to casino sample. Let's go to backgrounds. You've got 3 of these here, so let's go with background, images, get rid of this one. Let's put in Bellagio, casino background, and Vegas Strip. And let's copy it over here. Okay. Looks good. Let's move that out of the way. And let's just simply go into here and refresh. There they are. So we have now 3 coming in. Since there's 3, I think we're set to 10 seconds on our settings. And yeah, so it's going to change every 10 seconds. If I wanted it to change faster, I could say change every 5 seconds. And actually, if I go back in here now, it will have actually changed that file. So let's go here and let's open it with Notepad. And as you see, it changed it to 5,000, which is 5 seconds. So as you make changes in that front end, you'll get changes in that file itself. So as you see, it's changing every 5 seconds, and so it's looking more like a casino. So let's go back to our sample here, and let's go back to the sample here. And let's go to, we've got background music. So let's go ahead and add some background music now. So let's go here into music and let's go into Casino Rock. And there you go. Now here I'll need to turn the music volume up in order for you to hear this, and I'm going to hit refresh. Okay, so now you have background music, you have background images. Looks like we're going pretty well here. I want to turn the music down again because you want to be able to hear me. So there we are with that. So let's go ahead and bring in the casino again. And the music again. So here we are in the sample again. Okay, so that's pretty much fills out our images and our music. So we're done with that. Nothing else really to do. So let's now start building out our shapes. So here's the shapes we have. Like I said, we have sphere. So in sphere we have images. Okay. And as you see, the images have a sample. Oh, let's do one more thing back here for a minute. Let's go here for a second. Let's go to background. Let's go to images. Let's put in something that's not a image. So we're going to put in something that's just garbage. So let's go with a new text document. So that is not an image file. But let's see what happens when we refresh it. So we've refreshed. And there it is. When it's not an image file, it'll put this question mark up on the screen, so you know that you somehow have a file in there that's not a valid type. And so you can delete it and look at it and see what's wrong. Generally, the types that are accepted are JPEG, PNG, GIF, pretty much the standard image files, bitmap. But in general, PNG is probably your best option. So let's go ahead and go back. And remove that image. So it's gone. All right, and then we come here and refresh. Alrighty then. So let's go on with Casino, back to where we were with shapes. And Casino, shapes. Alright, so spheres have images. They will also do that if you put in a wrong image. If you put a wrong sound file in the sound folder, that's not a WAV, an MP3, or another sound file type, then it will not show anything or make any weird sound. It'll just ignore that file. So it's a little harder in this case of sound, because you don't get a visual distinction that you have this issue, but it just ignores the file and it doesn't load it. Okay, so in the sphere images, let's get rid of the sample. And in here we'll go in the sphere images. And not that one we want. That's the wrong folder. We want Casino Sample. There we go. And we want the textures. So we have all these textures here. And let's go ahead and pull these in. And we're going to put them in sphere images. There we go. And these are all 512 by 512 PNG files. As you see, they're relatively small, like 68, 128K. Very small files compared to other more complex or large megabit files. They're in the Ks. And so they should run relatively fast. So let's go ahead and bring them in, and let's just refresh. So we're going to hit Casino, and we're going to refresh. And then we're going to bring in the values, 1 to 100, and we're going to generate the shapes. There they are. So the shapes are now here. They all have their value. As you hear the horn, they all have their values. And we can go ahead and starting to look pretty good. So let's clear those. Let's bring these back so you can see them on screen. Alright, so that's it for that. Let's go back to our sphere. And let's go to sounds now. You've got collision sounds, which we don't have any right now, so let's go with collision sounds. These are all collision sounds that we're going to want in this theme. So we go Control V. And here's our collision sounds. Now when the balls hit each other, they will play one of these random sounds. So these are various different sounds, and it's going to sound kind of like a casino when you walk into a casino and you hear this cacophony of slot machines and other alarms and buzzers and everything else going off. So that's kind of the theme that we're looking for with this. So let's go ahead and move these off. Let's make sure that our settings are here for collision, which they are, and music is still working fine. So let's go ahead and refresh the theme. Let's close the setting here. Let's just generate shapes, and I'm not going to let this go very long because it can be rather annoying, but let's do it. As you can hear, it sounds like a casino. So every time a ball collides, it makes a sound, and so all these balls collide and make that sound. And then when you click one, they quit doing that, and you just get the little horn sound from the one that's selected. So let's bring them over. Okay, so we're back where we were. We're going to go back to the sphere. We have the sounds. We have the selected sound, which is that horn. It's done the same way. Casino sample. Selected sounds, it's the horn. It's the same sound, so we can bring it in, but you get the point on that. So that's pretty much how you make a theme in a nutshell. Now, how do we want to change our shapes? Well, we have a sphere right now, as you saw when we bring it in. All of the shapes are going to be spheres. So if you want to just copy that, you can then make a cube, and it can have its own shapes, images, have its own sounds and images, so they can be different. They don't have to be the same. And if I run it now with the cube, you should get both in here. Again, I have to refresh first. So I made the change. I need to refresh. And then if you generate the shapes, and same thing happens when you click a cube, it happens when you click the sphere. So that's about it for this video. I hope it was informative, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and thank you very much, and goodbye.